World events in 1820. America. Missouri Compromise. March 1820. Congress passed this act to maintain the balance between free and slave states, admitting Maine as free and Missouri as slave, and restricting slavery's expansion in the West. Presidential election. James Monroe was re-elected president, almost unanimously, with Daniel D. Tompkins as vice president. U.S. Census. The fourth national census counted 9,638,453 people, with 1.5 million enslaved African Americans. African colonization. Free black colonists sailed from New York to Sierra Leone, supported by the American Colonization Society. Canada. Union debates. The idea of uniting Upper and Lower Canada was actively discussed in London and by colonial governments, though it would take decades to materialize. Government-sponsored immigration. Britain actively encouraged immigration to Upper Canada, targeting areas like the Perth, Peterborough, and Rideau River regions to bring in more imperial settlers after the War of 1812. Black settlements. The 1820s saw the beginning of all-black settlements, like Wilberforce, established by former slaves, offering education and skills, though with internal debates about segregation. Parliament building. A new Parliament building for Upper Canada was finished in York, but unfortunately, it would burn down just 4 years later in 1824. Thomas Douglas, Earl of Selkirk, the prominent colonizer and author, passed away in 1820. Mexico. Liberal revolt in Spain. A liberal military coup in Spain forced King Ferdinand VII to restore the Constitution of 1812, threatening the conservative elite in New Spain, Mexico. Cuba. Explosion of the slave trade. Despite an 1817 treaty with Britain to end the slave trade by 1820, Cuban ports saw a massive influx of enslaved Africans, making Cuba the largest slave colony in Hispanic America. Funded by American capital. Economic interdependence with the U.S. Cuba's sugar and coffee boom, coupled with U.S. investment, intertwined economies, with U.S. merchants partnering with Cuban planters, notes Hutchins Center. Chile. Capture of Valdivia. February 3rd to 4th, a decisive naval and land assault led by British Admiral Thomas Cochrane, supported by O'Higgins, overcame Valdivia's formidable coastal defenses, a major blow to Spanish power in the south. Freedom Expedition of Peru. August 20th, the Chilean fleet, under Cochrane, sailed from Valparaiso to aid the liberation of Peru, a key moment in South American independence. Battles in the south. September-November fighting continued in the south with engagements at Pangal, September 22nd, Tarpalenca, September 26th, and significant battles at Las Vegas de Talcahuano, November 25th, and Alameda de Concepcion, November 27th. Argentina. Battle of Cepeda, February 1820. Federalist forces, led by Estanislao Lopez and Francisco Ramirez, decisively beat the centralist army of the Supreme Director, José Rondo, shattering national authority. Treaty of Pilar, February 1820. Following Cepeda, the provinces of Santa Fe, Entre Rios, and Buenos Aires signed this treaty, signaling a shift towards provincial autonomy, though it didn't end conflict. Collapse of José Gervasio Artigas, the Federalist leader, protector of the League of Free Peoples, was betrayed by his own caudillos, Lopez and Ramirez, who turned against him, leading to his exile in Paraguay. Colombia. Siege of Cartagena. 1820 to 1821, a major military conflict began as Patriot forces besieged the important port city of Cartagena, a significant long-term royalist stronghold, a siege that would last over a year. Africa. Around 4,000 British settlers arrived in Algoa Bay, now Port Elizabeth, in the Eastern Cape, starting land allocation and influencing local demographics and defense. New settlements like Worcester were established, while Port Elizabeth was named by Sir Rufane Duncan. King Mushweshwe, founder of the Basotho Nation, moved his capital to Butha Mountain to escape conflict, a key moment in the formation of modern Lesotho. Nigeria. Rise of the palm oil trade. Britain encouraged palm oil trade in the Niger Delta to replace slave trade, but this inadvertently increased internal slavery as slaves were needed for collection and processing. Morocco. Plague outbreak. 1818 to 1820, a severe plague swept through Morocco, devastating its agrarian, isolated communities, with European consuls often quarantining themselves in Tangier. Egypt. In 1820, Muhammad Ali of Egypt launched major expansion, beginning the conquest of Sudan for resources and slaves, led by his son Ismail, conquering the Siwa Oasis and starting to modernize Egypt's economy and military, setting the stage for his powerful, semi-independent state within the Ottoman Empire, with initial industrialization attempts and sending students to Europe. Iran. Early journalism. Mirza Muhammad Saleh Shirazi, Iran's first newspaperman, was involved in using public diplomacy, like letters to the Times, in London to further cajole interests in this era. India. Thomas Munro appointed governor. On June 10th, Sir Thomas Munro became governor of the Madras Presidency, a major region of southern India, signifying growing British administrative dominance. Cholera epidemic. A severe cholera outbreak, originating near Calcutta, Kolkata, swept through India, Burma, and Ceylon, Sri Lanka, causing massive loss of life. China. Imperial succession. The Jiaqing Emperor died suddenly in September, with his son, Mianning, ascending the throne as the Daoguang Emperor, becoming the first Qing Emperor to inherit the throne as his father's eldest legitimate son. Xinjiang unrest. The 1820s saw the beginning of significant challenges in Xinjiang, with Jahangir leading uprisings against Qing control, aiming to restore Sufi rule in the region. Cambodia. Rebellion begins. A significant revolt, known as the Neak Sel, Holy Man's Rebellion, erupted against Vietnamese rule, challenging their authority. Anti-Vietnamese sentiment. The rebellion was fueled by resentment towards Vietnam's growing control, with Cambodian monks and people resisting cultural and political imposition. Minh Mang's rise. In Vietnam, Emperor Minh Mang ascended the throne, continuing and intensifying policies aimed at incorporating Cambodia more directly into the Vietnamese sphere. Britain. Cato Street Conspiracy. February, a radical group planned to assassinate the entire cabinet. The plot was exposed by government spies, leading to arrests and executions, marking the last judicial decapitation in the UK. Radical War. April, Scottish weavers and workers launched strikes and unrest, proclaiming a provisional government, met with military force and demonstrating widespread discontent. George III death and accession. King George III died, and his son became King George IV, triggering a general election and a constitutional crisis over his estranged wife, Queen Caroline. Queen Caroline affair. The new king tried to divorce his unpopular wife, leading to massive public support for her and anti-monarchical sentiment, challenging the government. France. February 13th, Charles Ferdinand d'Artois, Duke of Berry, heir presumptive to the throne, was assassinated by a fanatic, Lavelle, aiming to end the Bourbon dynasty. Political upheaval. The assassination inflamed tensions between liberals and ultra-royalists. The ultra-royalists blamed Prime Minister Elia Decazes, forcing his resignation. Fire in Paris. A large fire at a wine depot in Bercy caused significant destruction, with wine being used in a futile attempt to extinguish the flames. Norway. Bodo affair. Ongoing, a major diplomatic issue between Sweden, Norway, and Britain, stemming from Norwegian seizure of British goods and arrests in Bodo, starting 1818, highlighting tensions in foreign policy. Denmark. Electromagnetism discovery. April 21st, during a lecture, Hans Christian Ørsted observed an electric current deflecting a compass needle, proving electricity and magnetism were linked, a discovery published later that year. Australia. In 1820 Australia, key events included the arrival of the first official Catholic priests, exploration and naming of Lake George and the Snowy Mountains by Joseph Wilde, and Governor Macquarie's directive for left-side driving. How much did you know about these events? Thank you for watching.